All right. So next, let's talk about kind of your hopes for the future.
Well, let me start with where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 82 years old. I'm fortunate to be in good health and very active. Uh, in fact, I'm going to start teaching a course at Rollins College as a lecturer in a few weeks again. Um, I feel good. I'm facing the possibility that I may die soon given my age. Um, I'm not afraid of death. I'm only afraid of dying because I don't want to suffer and I don't want my family to suffer watching me die. I hope to keep active. I hope to keep writing and publishing. Um, I am now very careful about our friendships. We have a few close friends and some others that we've known for a long time. I enjoy having dinner with them, Myrna and I, and sharing our family lives with them. Um, and those are good times. Dr. Jack Lane and his wife Jan, and my friend Saki O'Sullivan, who is a professor of English, and Dr. Lane retired as professor of history. They and their wives are very close friends of ours here. We spend a lot of time with them and share a lot of our plans and hopes for the future. What I want is to be able to know that my children are all at peace with one another, that they are in speaking terms, which they are prone at many times not to be when they get angry at small and little things. I want them to love each other and be comfortable with each other and be comforters to each other, and to not use this path of not speaking to each other when they get a little upset with something. I want them not to pass those habits on to their children. I want the future to be a future in which all of my grandchildren will love each other, be proud of their heritage, and be well educated. That is of extreme importance to me. I hope they contribute to the community, to our family life, to the country we live in, and make the best of their talents and abilities. As far as my future goes, I now inclined to slow down a bit. I get up very early every morning to walk my little dogs, Sophia and Monty, like 3:30 in the morning. I volunteer at the hospital, admitting people to surgery. And on those days, I get up at 2:30 in the morning so I can walk the dogs, read the paper, have my breakfast, have coffee with Myrna, and be off to my job, my volunteer job. I want to continue to do that. I want to volunteer. I love people. I love working with people. I love helping people. And I just enjoy being active and busy. But I have to say, a habit I started in the last few years is napping in the afternoon. My naps tend to be long, at least 2 hours, but I think that's because of the early hours in which I get up each day. As a child growing up, I loved to go to the movies, but of course we didn't have TV until I was about 16 years old, and there weren't Netflix and there weren't all kinds of videos and cell phones and video games. So the movies were the big thing, and they were pretty big in my life until about 10 years ago when things changed and I began to spend less time wanting to go to movies. I like to read, but I like to watch certain things on television. My favorites on television are watching the news, keeping up on what's happening, and I'm not much on watching dramas, matters of that nature. In fact, I think it's a habit I learned from my father. My father was a lawyer. My father was an avid reader, well educated, a good person academically. And he always said he didn't want to go to the movies where he'd see sad pictures because he said, I don't need to go watch people who have tragedies in their lives or are unhappy or problems. He said I could stay home, not pay money to the theater owners, and worry about my own problems. So he would go to see comedies, funny, slapstick kind of stuff. My mother was the opposite. She just loved to go to the movies with a box of Kleenex and cry at the tragedy she saw on film. I'm kind of like my father.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looking ahead to the future, hopefully future generations who may or may not get to meet you, will watch this video at some point. What would be your advice to those people?
First, don't let small things upset you or your goals or aspirations. Set them aside. There's a Yiddish word for that called Narishkeit. It means small things. So don't let small things upset your life, your goals, your aspirations. Be well educated and never stop learning. Be comforting to other people. And be nice to yourself. When you make mistakes, and you will, don't live a life of guilt and blame. Don't should on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from your mistakes and go forward. Be kind, be honest, live an active life. Be as active as your mind and body will let you. Keep in good shape, keep in good health, travel, open your eyes to the world and to other peoples, and learn. I have learned in my travels to get rid of a lot of early bigotry and prejudice toward my fellow man that I grew up with because I lived in a segregated society, segregated schools, drinking fountains, bathrooms, etc., based on race. And now I'm able to look at people. It doesn't make any difference what their religion is or race, and we're equals. I don't see a black person as black. I see them as a child of God in the same way that I see my white friends.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do that too. I want you to love people for who they are and not for the color of their skin or their religion. In fact, most of our close friends over the years have been people who are not even of the Jewish faith like we are. And we get along so beautifully, and we don't see each other by virtue of our religion. I want my children and grandchildren to live lives like that, to see all people as human beings created by a great creator. And I want them to work for freedom, be well educated, be comforters, be loving, be loved, be active and vigorous, energetic, and I want them to be as kind and patient and loving to their children as I hope we were to ours.